was conflicted. Sometimes I did the same. My power full of resentment to a deep depression. I'm in the hotel room.
The Negro community has shot the white man. All efforts to divide us, I should continue to shot him and working together in unity. Religious, political, economic, or educational, or social, let us remember, utilized because we're Baptist, because we're Methodist, because we're Muslim, because we're Catholic. We're brutalized because we are black people in America. Hey, your mother is being raped, and you're not supposed to be emotional. Your women, please, your women can't, without some cracker putting his hands on her, and you're not supposed to be emotional. If you say that you're fed up, people don't even know their own name. Why? Because he took it away from them. Please. 20 million black people don't even know their own language. He took it away from them. 20 million black people who don't even know the history of their ancestors. He took it away from them. And if you try to tell them how sorry it's completely, he said that he can take it. Today, you are coming out of college, the leading university. They're going in a good direction, but you don't know which direction to go in. To take you right to the root of your problem, to hate. And why should the senators in Washington we tell you that Negroes are being shot down illegally? And those Negroes should do something to protect themselves. You say you're advocating violence. The white man is tricking you. He doesn't call it violence when he lands troops in South Carolina. Please. He doesn't call it violence when he lands troops in Berlin. However, he didn't say it's non-violent or to pass the ammunition. When someone comes at you with a club, you with a rope, you with a gun, that you've done nothing. Suffer peace. Pray for those who use you despitefully. And how long can you suffer after suffering for 400 years? Well, I just want to clear up that little point right there. You stay on your emotions. When you turn on your television tonight, or read the newspaper, that I will play on your emotions. A second-class citizen who is being intelligent.
Family, welcome to the Rundown with Renee. I'm your hostess, Renee, and we're going to get it in tonight. You just heard, I think, if I can say that, clip from Malcolm X's, a lot of the speeches that he's done that have been, put up and that are on video. Favorite clips because it just touches on so many things in a short period of time. So, you may hear that often. I'll sprinkle it in here and there. But anyway, we're in here tonight. We're going to be talking about how to stay on racial code. And I wanted to play Malcolm X, of course, because I put him on the flyer. If you, what he was just saying there too in the end about why we're being genocided, all of these other superficial things in that way, like religion or whatever, but it's about our culturally or ethnically or what have racially as Black people. So I wanted to talk about how to stay on racial code because he did that very, very well. He did it very, he had some things that he did not disagree with that other leaders or people were doing. And then, we know the whole situation that went down later with, the Nation of Islam. He was very outspoken on us unifying around being or so-called Negro people. So, I thought it would be great. But yeah, so tonight, we're going to be dealing with a lot of things with racial code. And what I mean by code is in terms of understood. Okay, it doesn't have to necessarily be understood by those people who know the code. And you see every other, racial group or whatever, ethnicity or whatever, operating by this code. Now, that's not to say that everybody else is so unified and they agree on everything. No. I don't mean that. I mean, though, in terms of when it comes to dealing with other racial groups, especially dealing with Black folks, they on the same damn page. Them white folks put their religion, put whatever other issues or whatever to the side, honey. Their people remain in power, in control. Okay? We see that. I mean, that can't be said enough, right? You had all of these poor redneck or poor or working class white folk who voted for this man who was silver, gold, diamond spoon in his mouth. Okay? He ain't never known a day of hard work or nothing. But they voted for this man, him being a white supremacist, and him upholding white, so to speak, if you want to put it that way, which all that really means is to make hell on everybody who's not Black people. Okay? So let's go ahead and just call a spade tonight. When I say Black, because we have this thing, people want to play all of these semantics and things. Black, you can say more, Hebrew, Native, okay, African descent. Okay, so let's just so we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about how the code, what does that mean, why we should do it, how you can stop from letting yourself be used by these other races to attack your people, and so on and so forth. We will kind of do it like open mic style, so I'll be going through the phone line. Well, I'm already filling up, so if you feel like you have a question or comment, make sure that you press 1. If you're listening online and you think you want to contribute to the conversation, you have to call in. The call-in number is 319-527-6058, 319-527-6058, and make sure you press 1 if you want to speak. Okay. Bring in some people in the house, my people in here with me. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my brother Psycho. He is basically simulcasting his YouTube channel. I'm going to post the link. I've been running around. I'm going to post the link on my Facebook. But I'll bring him in and he can spell his name for you so you can find him. And then I'm going to bring in my sisters. So let me bring in everybody.
Renee, what's going on?
Hey.
I can't call it. He's waiting. Glad we got this show going. For those who want to know, I'm live streaming this on YouTube. You can find me SYKOPATHEIST, Psychopathist. To get this show going.
One more time for
KOPATHEIST.
All right. You know, black folk. So what do you say? So yeah, what do you how do you repeat it? But anyway, all right. And then we have my sisters on the line with me. We have Sister Maya. She's been holding it down, and we got Sister Nikki back in the house tonight. What's up, Queen? Sister Renee, I want to say peace to the brothers Psycho with the simulcast on YouTube and everything. Now, tonight with Sister Renee. I'm so excited. How's everybody doing today? Wonderful. How you doing? I'm fine. Ready for your show. The brother Psychopathian, on your page, I think I spelled it right. Do you have like an African mask or face on your picture?
Yes, yeah, mask.
Yeah, and it's also that for the family who did see my flyer, it's also that mask that you see on the flyer. If you see that on YouTube, that's the channel too. So we're gonna get into dealing with this racial code and came about this because it's been something that's been talked about lately. Well, our elders, which I'm going to play one here in a minute, Neely Fuller and Dr. Welsing, they talked about these sorts of things. But Fuller, he always talks about staying on code, how the white supremacists stay on code. And I listen to Tariq a lot. If people, I love Tariq, like I go far back with him. I don't like a lot of things, though, that seeing him do or say and things of that nature. I won't go into all that now, but him in terms of like his book he had for women, I had that book. I used to always listen to his shows and things, and I still tune into him now, of course, on YouTube and nature. And he does drop a lot of really, really, really powerful knowledge. And he is one who also deals heavily with what our elder Neely Fuller laid out in terms of, the code, our people that we should have, and the code that others. So, just in terms of some of the things that we've seen lately, one major thing being Ben Carson. I definitely want to talk about him tonight, and what he said in terms of immigrants. Okay, ancestors were not enslaved; they were not slaves. And I know people don't like the term prisoners of war, but they weren't prisoners of war according to him. They were immigrants. Okay, so we're going to talk about that tonight and how, with little things like that, you can see how right before our eyes they are history, right? So they're changing it. So if you can get away, if he can get away and they can get away with having this man say this word, immigrants, not prisoners of war or not slaves, if you want to use that term, but to say they were immigrants. If we allow him to get away with that and these people to get away with it, then we already know where it's going. They are the history books to make it seem like, harsh or bad as it was. And, they had this book, I think they've recently, a lot of libraries and things removed it, but it was a children's book called his birthday cake, something to that, something like that was the title. And the book was basically about and her mother was a cook. She was enslaved, and she baked the cake for his birthday or whatever. And they try to really make this like a warm-hearted story. She's really a damn, she's a chef who's being paid, and this is what she's coming. No, but this is how they do, and they recolor it, they rewrite it right in front of our eyes, and a lot of times we don't see anything about it. So, anyway, we're going to deal with all that tonight. But before we do, a better introduction. See here. A better introduction. Oh, did anybody want to say anything before about any mention in this topic tonight? This Just waiting on you, sister.
Yeah, trust me, I'm gonna go in.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna play this. So to speak. Speaking about what it is. So, excuse me, for those who may be kind of unsure about everybody, we got to think about all our people. Some who are unsure, some who are going to have a problem tonight. Oh, really? Let me refresh my screen for a minute. I'm telling you, Blacktop always gives me so many issues. Like when I upload things, man, it's crazy. But yeah, he's basically giving, some details. And if this thing would just, come on and hurry up going. Family, I see you on my mind. I will come to you to get this understanding out the way so we can all start on a solid foundation. And we can progress here. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm going to play this. It's about 5 minutes. But he's breaking it down, and then after that, we'll come back. We'll get it in. I'll go to the phone line. And, yep.
It can be done about it. You can put a park built up by people, put together by people, can be taken apart by people. But you have to know how it's put together in order to do it in a manner that makes sense. Where it is together and how it works. And this is why the statement in the front of the textbook for victims of racism, understand what it is. Everything else that you understand will only confuse you. And that's going to be the result. So the result is what you're looking at is confusion. Of confusion all over the place. Confusion is sort of like the preface to things that shouldn't be happening, like anger, frustration. You get angry, you get frustrated, and then you just lash out. And you lash out at standing near you that you perceive as being weaker than you. That's sort of a normal reaction among all confused organisms. The 101 basis under some instances that has people know how to deal with it, but to a degree that is orchestrated on a long-term basis and on a consistent basis. It is a counter-racist code. Go by the code. Of activity, education, entertainment, law, politics, religion. It just about covers everything that people are engaged in from one moment to the next, all over the planet, any time of day or night. No more of those activities, and all of these activities, meaning what happens in politics affects what happens in religion, affects what happens in sex, what happens in economics affects what the fields of education and entertainment. So the races have figured out how to dominate in all of these areas. For doing so, for each one of the categories, about doing everything that they do. victims of the system of racism don't have any such thing that corresponds in power to understand it of what is going on. So they just jump up and do anything. When something happens in the field of education, you don't know what to say. So, nothing. Say, what do we do? Situation. What are we supposed to be learning? What ultimate goal? Where should we have a school? Teach in the school. And in order to accomplish what? Completely, just kind of wandering around, bumping into each other. And then they start fighting because they did bump into each other. The pattern. And it can't be expected to become codified. When this happens in the field of our response will be this and this and this and this. Well, precision orchestrated. In the field of education, which is just a process of learning things that you ought to know. Be teaching this for what reason? And that reason, the other reason that we say and the things that we do, because everything in the universe is a doing. You got to know what to say under certain circumstances in order to get a precise result. In order to get a precise result. It's like when the tire gets flat on the car. It's the thing that you do in order to compensate for that. In flat. Otherwise, if you try to run, you're not going to get the best result, and you're going to get further damage. The vehicle is not made to do that. Everything else in the universe, be able to address it. Precise way of diseases, precise way something that is in need of repair. Compensate for things being out of balance. The system of racism, everything is out of balance because they throw it out of balance. It's everything. Where their victims are concerned. Keep them off balance. The example of that in economics is keep them moving, Don't let them get too set where they are, if where they are to them. Where and for something or a business or whatever. To build up and build up and build up over a period of time that becomes successful and working and something you can depend on, rely on, and improve on. Well, let them get in this kind of situation for the business of white supremacy. Moving, as they say in old Western movies, keep them squatters on the move. Stable. They get stable, it'd be harder to deal with. Keep them confused. Do this at all times and all areas of activity. And keep them confused. Keep them confused. Keep them confused. So that they don't even know the difference between a male and a female.
All right, family. That was on the show there for a minute. Boy, Dr. Neely Bullet got that boy. I was listening to his show. Right. That was so my goodness. The elder. Listen to him, definitely. Right. I just thought I was on his show. I was just gone there, like, okay. Especially the part about people, that is so, that's what's going on right now. Like, we don't know which way to go with. It's extremely confused. And that's exactly, that's what's going on, is state of confusion. Any direction you could go, like he said, the 9 areas of people activity: religion, labor, law, politics, entertainment, education, et cetera, sex, war. Like, what area in there is understanding? No area, because we don't dominate any of those areas. And unfortunately, when we get so-called black people in those positions, we know that their purpose is to ultimately support and continue white supremacy. They're for white power, not for black power. So we have to understand, this whole situation. But in dealing with this code, and I'm going to come to the phone lines, but in dealing with this code here, and then I'm going to go to the next thing, because the next thing I want to talk about is the Asian people. The Asian folk, definitely whatever, code.
Yep.
With the video that has been going around social media recently, basically the Asian dude and the woman basically jumping on that black girl, claiming that she stole. You know what I'm saying? In the hair store. Okay. So I want to get in. I want to talk about that, and I want to connect to that. The movie Get Out, when they have the party or whatever, the get together, people that was there, the Asian man that was there. So I want to connect all of that and build just how much they are on code and how we don't even see it. But let me first deal with this Ben Carson thing, and I want to get y'all input on this. I think this was last week. Yeah. He said, and I had the video, but it's short, so I don't really need to play it. But he said this. He was giving a speech to his, I guess, employees or whatever. He works. What is it? The urban. The housing department. You know what I'm talking about. The government, urban housing and development, I think it is. Anyway, he works Department of Housing and Urban Development. Okay. And he was speaking to, his employees and all of this kind of thing. And I guess he's getting settled into his new position. And as he was speaking, started talking about immigrants. And he was saying something about how, all these people who came here through Ellis Island, holding all their earthly belongings in their two hands, and they came here for a better life, their sons and daughters, and this, that, and the other. Then he goes on to say, and this is the direct quote, for other immigrants who came in the bottom of slave ships, even longer for less. But they too had a dream that one day their sons, daughters, grandsons, great-grandsons, great-granddaughters might pursue prosperity and happiness in this land. And do you know, of all the nations in the world, the United States of America, one big enough and great enough to allow all those people to realize their dreams. And this is our opportunity to enhance that dream. What America is about, a land of dreams and opportunity. All right. So fool said, and yes, he is a fool. This is what he said. And of course, you know, it started going around everywhere. And so the pushback, a lot of these coons, and I'm just, so whoever don't like it, it's just is what it is. You had the pushback. Well, I mean, it doesn't say that, you know, immigrant just means somewhere else. Stop the bull and stop it. See, those are the little psychological games they play with people. And unfortunately, many people buy that. And they say, well, yeah, I guess that's true, you know. It just means someone came from another country. Okay, we know exactly what they're talking about. The people who came here through some damn Ellis Islands are in no way, shape, form, or fashion comparable to our ancestors. They're forced to be here, who were brought here, as he said. How the hell did you say they were immigrants and say they came here in the bottom of slave ships? You have both of those things. I don't understand that. Are they immigrants or slaves? Which one is it? What the hell is the immigrant on a slave ship? A slave means you're forced, like forced. Whatever the case, I don't give a damn how poor they were, how terrorized they were. They still made a conscious choice and effort with their families, by the way. Families. They were not forced to be separated from their family or stripped from their cultural identity. He talks about they came here with all their earthly belongings in their two hands. Our people didn't come here with that. They didn't have no earthly belongings.
That's right.
We didn't have a damn thing. So what are you talking about to even put the two in the speech? And this is what, black folks, okay? This is what we need to realize. They say and do these things purposely. This is strategic. Either by accident or just by chance, okay? And the fact that this got out and it went everywhere, this is on purpose. Try to recolor the history of white folks and white supremacy in America. To recolor the history of black folks in America. To feel that black people are on a level playing field with everybody else, and we are just inferior. Because of hundreds of years of subjugation, hundreds of years of enslavement, hundreds of years of torture and brutality. Not because of any of those things. No, they're just lazy. They just don't want anything because they were immigrants, just like my great German such and such was. Where we're at today, they worked really hard. And look where I am. They do. And it's just try to further clean up their image to the rest of the world. And like I said, in doing that, it helps to further negatively propagandize black people. It helps to further criminalize black people. It helps to further make us look like we are the ones everybody should be against. If we study Hitler and all the things that he did, everybody knows the negative propaganda campaign about the Jews before he could really do something to them. Be a campaign in place to make them look like they were the problem with society. That's wrong. It's because of them. And this is what's been done to us forever, okay? And as time goes along in this country, becoming darker and darker in terms of different people who are non-white. People are holding on for dear life. Struggling right now. They don't know which way is up. They don't know what to do. So anytime you within themselves, anytime they are more frightened, even more on black people. This is why you see all the things coming down the pike in this Trump administration. Okay? And if he does get a second one, he may. But whatever the case, he gonna do all the hell he can do, at least in this first one, get his people back up for a long time to come. So we just have to be very cautious. Anybody got want to say anything about this nonsense?
I didn't know which made me more mad. The fact that he was referencing us as immigrants, that these quote unquote immigrants actually had a dream. What kind of, like, he really tried to incorporate "I got a dream" speech to slavery. Really a joke. Like, what was these slaves on the bottom of these ships sleeping in the middle of shit and piss, getting tortured, the ships and everything else? What was they dreaming about exactly? Dreaming about coming over here in this country and trying to make a better living? No, they didn't even know where they was going. What was going on? They didn't even know they was going to even make land. So what was they dreaming about? They was dreaming about going back home, and wish they were ships and kidnapped from Africa. That's what they was dreaming about. Like, it's a joke that he even made these stupid references. It just goes to show me about these coons is they break their necks. People feel comfortable. They really go out their way to try to make white people feel comfortable. Like, that is, they're more concerned with white people feeling comfortable than people. And,
that's right.
And that's them not staying on code. Yeah, Ben Carson's a damn fool. I don't care how much schooling he has, how well studied he is. He's a damn fool.
And I want to go in. I say that I wanted to agree with the brother. I mean, Ben Carson and lost his mind. You know, I just think that, isn't it, that we are always everything. No matter what goes on, we have the center of it. Like, absolutely nothing. I think this is a point in time, even though it is a negative point, we need to do some reflection, because for the simple fact is, black people, period, and not as slaves, like you said earlier, Sister Renee, it has come out, like, the truth is out there over top of what's being taught in these European psychotic mental institutions that they are passing off is teaching our children. They can never teach our children anything. The only thing that they say ever is that we were slaves, and that's not true. That's not true. Yes. But not in the manner that they were said. More black people, the president, okay, that actually founded, that actually built Washington, D.C., in the middle of that whole monument, from Egypt. It's like built in, it's like a sundial. You understand? We are all through here. We all up and through here. You understand? We were the ones that built everything. It was not as a slave. So that's what we need to understand. This whole, we had free reign over all the chosen people. We built everything. There's not one thing that you can put your hand on right now that a black person did not have a patent on or did not come up with. Now, just because a white person came behind them and built the office and put their names on a piece of paper and maybe revived it because that person is dead, okay, that's fine. I'm up with it. They came up with absolutely nothing. Studied us and then used us against. There's some things that we need to be with this silliness with whoever he's supposed to be. He's just questionable. He's questionable, to say the least, right now. I'm very political and things of this nature. I'm very I'm not sure exactly what his point is in saying that right now, but I do agree with you that he said that just to make the words cancer masses feel comfortable, and they're already comfortable. Like, what else do they need? Absolutely. Want to say anything on that? Well, you know, my brother and my sister quite well for themselves. Yes, Mr. Carson, we know that was a ploy. I mean, we know that they're changing things. White people are so slick. They change words. Like you said, this is how they're moving different. So they're switching up words and trying to confuse people with the meaning of words, as if people don't know that we were actually slaves here and not immigrants. But they will continue. If you say it enough and you show it on TV enough and you show it online enough, to believe it. You understand? So it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. It doesn't matter whether it really happened. Know it enough. When people eat it enough, they'll start to believe it and talk about it and tell their children about it. Big ass lie. That's right. And you know, that's how they operate. Over, like, you know, like I said, the 9 areas of people activity, one of which being education and entertainment, they can put out there the message they want to put. I mean, think in terms of the American media is owned by 6 white supremacist corporations. So the rest of the media that's alternative, like, how in the hell go up against 90%? Now, with the internet, I think that has shifted a lot of things, and with social media, that people are able to get their message out more, and to drive some of the things, some changes, but again, they can easily censor people. They can easily switch from stuff up. They can easily make it to where you type something in on Google, it won't come up. Like that. In order to keep certain, you know, information or certain outlets and things as hard to find as possible. So, you know, some of it, you know, say, like Asada Shakur said, we need to be using everything. Sorry, we need to be using everything for, no matter what it is, you know, be it entertainment, whatever, it should be for our liberation. So same thing with social media. We should be using that and use it as a means to connect with other people like we're doing right now. But yeah, it's hard going up against the whole system, put out some information like what this fool said, and people actually believe it. Anyway, let me go to these phone lines. We're going to go into the next thing. All right, 682. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, this is Prince Pierre.
Prince, how you doing?
Right, doing all right. Black Power with the Jew.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you know. But that is on code. The 9 pillars of racism, white supremacy. And them 9 pillars, we have to use it for go back to the supremacy. Pillars are control it for ourselves. That's the way it goes. Education, you know, and all the other 9 pillars of that. But that's education is the number 1 important thing. It's basically, they use him for white rhetoric. It's the blow on us. So on me, I see right through it. Giving the white man's game plan up to us. And niggas. So we know that the white man want to call us immigrants. The immigrant word, because if they call us, we immigrants, and the bad in the Chicago incidents and what's going on in the urban cities with the killings and everything, and it justified for a genocide against us. What are those subject orders they got going on?
Yep.
So, they're not trying to incorporate their business and try to get in with them to control the 9 pillars for ourselves. We $1.3 trillion is money.
that we can unify at least half of that money, we can battle against it. Say politics. We want to control our politics. We want to buy politicians, coon ass niggas. I want to buy my own politicians that's coming up that we raise and we cultivate. So ain't no age limit on no judge. Judge could be 22 years old, coming out of HBCU or coming out of an education environment. He's not a Democrat or Republican. He's a Pan-Africanist. CNN or SN or whatever, it's going to have Pan-Africans at his political platform. He's not conforming to this bullshit. Deal for us. He's off here if you want to stay here. Because, everybody ain't going to repatriate. So we got to be the one to repatriate. Okay? But we know every black man person is not going to leave. We talk about repatriation of our own, a land of our own. It's the sovereignty on them. So they do try to mess with us. The country, if they got nukes, we got nukes, goddammit. Nation. That's why America never goes down, because China got the same nuclear weapons Americans do. Peace comes out strength. It never comes out weakness. With the white man off because the China man and the white man ain't pushing no buttons on it. They broke in deals. So I learned that a long time ago. Taught me that. They learned a lot of this back stuff. I learned that a long time ago. He said, boy, you get peace off strength, you get peace off no damn weakness. 170 fucking times, you think he beat your head again. But when he know, he come around that corner, you got a bat or a stick or some kind of something to bust his head to the white meat with it. He ain't coming around there with that shit. That's how it goes down. That's how it goes down. So we have to build our strength. We have to separate. At Lone Star RPG, the code needs to be African education for the babies. Putting your babies in the system where Dr. Ben Carson came from. African liberation going through these white schools and these doggone white universities. It ain't happening. Entrepreneurs that built races in the hood, they got shut down because the old man died because their kids don't believe that it's worth anything. You got guys in Memphis, Tennessee, that got a business and their kids are homeschooled, and what they do, they get the homeschooling at night and they run smooth living in the day. So they will get understanding that this will feed you, girl. This is what feeds you, boy. And the white man ain't gonna feed you. We got that's the code we gotta be on when we gonna say the white man ain't feeding me, the white man ain't educating me, and the white man ain't finna see our babies no more. Man,
Black power.
that's how it got to be, and that's how it has to be. And that's what I'm doing with my corporation called New African Water Solutions, while controlling the natural resources. Everybody sells alkaline water, but everybody don't sell 99.9% clean alkaline water. Alkaline water in the business. So what that means is that alkaline water is going to get in your system, and it's going to clean you out, it's going to purify you. And I'm out here. And May 1st, I'm out here at May 1st, is that is the artificial water, black power. That's what I mean. So if you want black power, you're going to buy my water. You come to RBG Family Weekend, that's what water you're going to be drinking. You're going to be grabbing that water blue drink, African colored label on that water, just what you're going to be drinking. You come to Texas in, it's going to be, and Black Power Wood, I'm brokering this deal here, May 2nd, official water drinking at the Black Power Wood. I am taking over this industry. I don't give a damn about this white man. And I'm going to show it. And we're going to be 100% invested in African-centered education. So that means when my business become $1 billion business, African-centered education is $1 billion industry. And that's what get called out, bro. I know damn well you can. To say, black child.
Know where they can find it or find you.
Me on Facebook. That's what I'm telling May 1st. So ain't nothing going on until May 1st. Cause that's when I get my order of bottles. That's why I keep saying May 1st. Damn. I'm on it local right now. I have a website. I'm building a website May 1st. And by June 1st, I'll be distributing off the internet. It'll be at NAWS. NewAfricanWaterSolutions.com. 9.5. Yeah. That's why it's taking me long to do what I'm doing. Hey. So I'll let you know, May 1st is my official date. Okay. Yeah, May 1st I'll be ready to talk.
Let me know when you're ready to come through and we can do a song. Yeah, okay. That's very important. Yeah. And I definitely want the information out there to the people.
Yeah, we can chop it up. Just a refreshment of Rundown with Renee. Hold on. One thing I want to add on. The water is just the beginning. Alkaline, I'm coming with a 9.5 alkaline soft drink, where it's 100% alkaline. Overseas with a company for alkaline sweet. I'm coming to take this thing over. I'm not playing with this sucker. Man, grandmama told me a long time ago when I'm gone. She said, boy, I won't see it in the flesh, but you're gonna be one. You just don't know right now. Everything else told me that I was gonna be such as that. We don't know what you're gonna be. When you get it, you're gonna be great. And I came with this water, and I ain't reinventing no wheel. I just purified the best. Alkaline been here for years. Now you drinking it dirty as hell. That's all I got to say.
Well, I want to if you from him, like I said, yes. We're gonna do that show. Family, look out for that show time when I'm sure everything launches him. Because, people talk a lot, especially about RBGs, but people talk a lot about Black Power. Like, Black Power has been under attack pretty heavily. People say, I don't do that to people just be talking and this and that. These people doing things, but when people are doing things, number one, it's hard to get the information like that out to everybody.
If y'all go on.
Hold on, we don't support the people who are doing something. Everything, like you said, the wheel doesn't need to be reinvented. We just need to support those who are already in motion. You have right here Prince Pierre. You have which has the Guru Academy. You have a lot of people doing things. I just get tired of hearing those complaints. But go ahead. If you want to say something, I'm going to the next.
All I was going to say is like Baba Me. If you go on SoundCloud or go to DOK. Prince Pierre, I'm just a member of a bunch of niggas. I'm just a nigga that's trying to clean your water. You're going to keep me as a nigga anyway. I'll just be a rich, educated nigga. Okay? But I'm not your mindset on me. You to buy this water, because every time you drink a sip of that water, or buy that water product, you subconsciously donating and African education. That's automatically going down. I know what I need to do to survive. The rest guy got to go back to community. Right. See what's going on.
Absolutely.
You understand? Hey man, if I gotta use the liquor campaign to get you to buy this water, I damn sure will look the liquor campaign to get you to get this water. I don't care, man. I'm gonna get you this water now, and then I'm gonna get you this. If you don't want my water, well I damn sure gonna get you these soft drinks. A national equivalent and a healthy equivalent to all them bottling companies out here that these white folks are killing you with that acid. The acid to your death, I'm gonna outline you to life.
looking out for that. I'm definitely going to promote that heavily on my Facebook as well. So let's look out for that. But let me
I wanted to say something to Sister Renee real quick. He said, what's his name on Facebook again so I can...
Prince Pierre.
Okay.
Send it to you.
Definitely want to support my brother. And you know what, RBG does do a lot. You know that people like to try to shit on us. People like to try to shit on Steady, but don't nobody want to talk about all that money he get to them babies so they can keep their babies in that homeschooling up out of them crackers on. So you know what? Niggas are still crackers in the mind, regardless of what they try to come out here like they conscious. They still crackers in the mind. They throw all kind of shade on other black people who doing shit like police coming out in public, when if you got a problem with your brother, you go to your brother like a fucking man. You don't be no bitch online and go out and say shit about your brother. So black people really need to get the crack out their mind. They can talk about the cracker all day long, but it's stuck in their mind and they have this mentality. So even when another brother or sister is doing something, they'll find any little thing about them to try to shit on it and totally throw away all the good that they're doing. So I really want to put that out there what RBG is doing, because homeschooling our babies, we doing the best we can. We keeping the family life to the best of our ability inside this motherfucking hell we going through. We cut too much. We do. So fuck you worried about how much we cuss folks when they shoot. So people just, you know what, people nitpick and people be hating as black people. You understand? So when we out here doing our thing, they don't want to give us no props. They want to find little things to nitpick about. But I'm gonna do your thing, brother. I'm with you, and fuck all the haters.
Baba, I mean, said at the thing, do you want to be free or you want to be right? Which one you want to be? You want to be right or you want to be free? Right. It ain't both.
Oh, that's fine. Let me get these callers, y'all. 206. I got you coming. 206 Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mark, what I took me out of Peace and Black Howard family.
Peace. Do you have anything to say on this? Any other, anything doing with racial code or his foolishness?
I'm not gonna stay on it too long. I'm just gonna simply say that Ben Carson, is doing the most right now, and you can't even do that to fix your head sometimes, because out here in survival mode, trying to figure out what's going on and so on and so forth. And I think that the brother that was on previously, I mean, it's kind of hard to top him. I'm not as animated as him, but just a deep understanding of the fact that we have so many capabilities, right, to what, and yet we attempt so little. I think the big problem with our people, because I don't think we really have a lot of problems that, out of conversation.
Hey, let me pause you real quick. Hey, y'all, everybody's line is open, so if you have any, just reach the line, and if you're listening on YouTube too, just that on in the background. Okay, go ahead.
But people like to talk about the different issues or problems they think we got in black people and so on. But it's that we haven't made the hard choices that we need to make. Simple as that. For example, that the tell people use very victimized, right? The things that they stalk over or abuse. Like, this isn't new, right?
I think you might have some feedback. Do you have your computer up?
I don't.
Oh, just a second.
Oh, somebody has some feedback somewhere.
Better?
I still like when you talk, it's like a little.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not gonna stay all long. I'm just one of these brothers that truly believes honestly that we don't make the hard choice, right? There's different excuses and a lot of different reasons why we don't. We don't talk about the fact that black people be sitting here talking about how try to do something in any way that's the best we got here. Not to say that this society, like they created anything. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just saying you live here, right? This is where you are when you try to speak English properly, or when you try to become educated on a particular topic, or whatever the case may be, right? You get people all the time, try to use the weapons that are built inherent into this shit, right? To defeat whiteism, right? What everybody calls white supremacy, racism. I call it whiteism, right? But when you try to use the tools that are inherent in the system to beat, you get called a sellout, you get called a coon. So, I mean, there's some hard choices that I think black people have to make because we're going to unify. That's what I tell everybody. We are going to come together. The only real decision at this point is will we voluntarily come together through differences that really ultimately don't matter and come together as a people, or will we be forced to come together? You see what I'm saying? And to the extent where the other one, that's what's going to determine how this plays out. Because the system, people are not progressive people. That's just the way it is. So, it's going to stay the same. As long as they can continue to benefit. Because, I mean, we live actually, sister, I truly believe we live in the best time it is in this country. The best time ever. And I know you're thinking, it's got to be crazy. We getting shot down in the streets and all this and that. We have tools available to us, that if our ancestors had those same tools available to them, have a conversation, right? Give Marcus Garvey Facebook. Give Ida B. Wells, right? Okay? Give Nat Turner a cell phone or cell phones, and damn thing could have changed, right? Not to mention the fact that America is the end of empire. At the end of this whole thing, nobody really believes that. You got a few people that believe it because of religious stuff and things like that. But I mean, in a real practical sense, in our history, you know that this is what the end of an empire looks like. Empire always have risk. You always have risk. Opportunities as well, right? In point of fact, there will come a time in this society, in this culture, when their grasp on us will weaken. Buffalo and us, that's today, right? They'll keep as long as we keep eating it. You know what I mean? That's not going to change. That's what they've been doing. That's what they're going to continue to do. But they're, over time, us is weakening. Just like they came over here, planted a flag, said a prayer, and picked up the gun and said, come get it if you can. We need to do the same thing. Now, to the extent that we don't organize, continually, they're all, instead of telling and using the language to develop what we need, we use terms like criminal. Right. Okay. I see, extrajudicial, involuntary reparational specialists. Stealing and hustling, get it. This country that's never been allowed to profit from crime anyway. Shit, you had Joseph Kennedy. That was nothing but a drug dealer, right? He was bootlegging alcohol. A generation later, he had one son as president and another one that ran for president before he got killed. Every ethnic group in this country, they've been criminals, been profited from crime. You can look at gangs in New York to see the evidence of that. That was back in the 1800s, right? Why? Because we still believe in the law in their system. Nobody else gives a damn about the law. Legalism. That's all it is. Yeah, and I'm like disregarding the law. I'm sorry, go ahead, sister. I don't want to cut you off. Go on.
Wrap it up. Go ahead, because I'm
No, go ahead. Because I want to hear what you got to say. You're about to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, the idea of what you just said was so on point. And in terms of nobody else obeys the law. Nobody gives a damn about the law until it comes to black people. Okay? Then when it comes to us, then they're so, you know, about being law-abiding citizens and this type of thing. And this takes me into, because I wanted to address some of the points that I had on the flyer. So one of the things I want to deal with, by your enemy to attack your people, or by the enemy to attack your people. And this is something we have to understand when it comes on racial codes. Now, I want to bring back up the incident that happened, I don't know, however many months ago, with the so-called situation in Chicago with the 4 teenagers, if y'all remember that, okay? Now, that story has disappeared into thin air. Supposedly, they tortured, this white boy who's supposed to be mentally ill, or whatever the case is, okay? And that story, people were going ham. It was all over the news. White people was going into this whole thing because they want so badly to be able to characterize black people as racist. And that's one of the ways they operate. They always do a transference of energy, okay? So they have something negative, and they always try to take it and transfer it to black people. They want to transfer racism, which is deemed as a negative thing. Now they want to try to make black people out to be the racist. So with these 4, which is impossible, but anyway, with these 4 teenagers, and in the situation with the white boy, you had a ton of black people coming out, making videos, making posts, whatever, and going ham, talking about they should be locked up in the church and beaten. They were racist. And like that damn fool, William talking about they should spend the rest of their life in prison for what they did to that boy. Mind you, nobody killed him. And again, I think that was scripted and all that kind of stuff. Like a psyop. Yeah. And then you had so many black people coming out speaking against it. And you had a lot of so-called pro-black people, so-called conscious people speaking against it. And right there by them doing that, they were off of code. Because you notice, anytime a white person, Asian, or whoever does something that is despicable, let's say this situation actually happened, right? Whenever other races of people do something that's despicable, the other white people come out and attack that white person. And like the incident didn't even happen. You had that boy, and that was a psyop likely too, but he went in there and he killed these 9 people in the church. White people weren't saying a damn thing about that. They didn't say nothing about him. But you have this situation with Chicago, everybody was to come out publicly and talk bad about other black people. So this is a problem that we have. And what the purpose of that is, the purpose why they want us to do that is it helps them to identify, susceptible to their manipulation. Who is it that's weak? Who is it that can be used against other black people? They love to see it because they love to kick their feet up and watch us infight and watch us go at each other. So my thing is, even if somebody does something that is despicable or that doesn't mean you have to come out publicly and speak against that person. You have to say anything about it. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't deal with our community. That's not the point. Because everybody wants to talk about we need to be accountable as a community and this and that. But being accountable as a community is not going and making a video to put on YouTube about what some black people did. That's not being accountable. Now that you have to publicly condemn somebody who's black who did something wrong, that's a sickness right there. And if they play by the rules that they play by, nobody would have done it. So we have to understand what. So what can happen is you can be well-meaning, you can be supposedly pro-black and have an understanding of white supremacy, but you can still be used to attack your own people. And they do that by using the manipulation of stories like this and see who's going to budge. Because if you are pro-black and you are willing to fall for these things, and that's going to be one less nigga who are really understanding who they are and are really trying to challenge the system. Be careful with public attacks against other black people. Okay? Again, that doesn't mean that you accept or whatever the behavior. It just means you're not going to attack them in front of white people and everybody else. And this is the problem we have too, even with this gender thing or whatever on social media. If you have all of these black folk coming out attacking white women and vice versa all over social media, and who do you see that'll be in the white people? They cheer it on. They know that they can get on the side of either side and talk it up. The white women go and they're the white men go and they're on the black women's thing against black men and all of these sorts of things. Oh, well, I love you black women. You know what I'm saying? White women, oh, I love you black men. And they play these games. Meanwhile, we are so short-sighted and we are so hell-bent on having hatred and for each other. We don't even see the game that is being played. To understand this whole social media thing, as I said earlier, let's use it for our liberation. Let's use it for our benefit. And to condemn other black people is not beneficial unless we're talking about some cool. That's the next thing. If we're talking about cool, we're talking about sellout. I say put it out there because it needs to be known to white people and other races that we do not take kindly to traitors, except people like Ben Carson and what he said. That we do not accept people like Tammy Sodomizers. We should be putting that out there publicly because at that point, to me, that's no longer your brother or sister. They are merely blackface, part of the same structure that is oppressing us as a people. Get them and say, oh, well, because they black, I'm not going to attack them. Hell no. If they're doing something destructive to the collective, we got to deal with it. If they're siding with white people, to deal with it publicly. We have to be known that we're going to push unity over everything, but you cannot unify with people who are not for you. You cannot unify with black white supremacists. So with the whole Ben Carson being, it was, these black people who were aligning with white folk, and he was trying to come out. And he's the type of person we should look up to because he's a brain surgeon, and he's this and he's that. But again, you're listing accolades that have value in the white supremacist system. You're not listing accolades that have value for our liberation. Him being a brain surgeon is a great thing. That's wonderful. But currently, he's employed by their system. He's playing by their rules. And you see what he just said. He said something they wanted him to say. And then here's the other problem. A lot of people feel like we just got to deal with the codes and the sellouts and things, and not the white man. Here's the problem with that. With our codes and the sellouts, but within doing that, never, ever, ever of their white man and woman. Never lose sight of them pulling the strings. Because at the end of the day, the coon is the puppet, but who is the damn puppeteer? You still got to deal with that damn puppeteer because in this system, we don't have a lot of power or economics in terms of what we can provide to people. So when you have a power structure like white supremacy who has unlimited funds to give these codes something that in general as a black community, we're not necessarily in a position to do so, right? So you have Dan Carson, he's a huge salary, he's able to do whatever else he wants to do, and white supremacy is able to do that for them. So therefore, if you want to destroy a coon, that's fine, but guess what? They're going to be able to replace that coon the next day. To replace the coon because they're going to give them an offer they feel they can't refuse. To give them money or stability, give them a name, all of these sorts of things, and they're going to go for it. So you still have to deal with the puppeteer at the end of the day. A couple things, too, I want to do, and then we can go back around. I actually need to go back and look. Oh, yeah, and I have to bring in Brother E. But all slaves are equal, okay? Are temporary, okay? At all times, all slaves are equal. So even in, and this is really for us to understand those people who are willing to align with white supremacy. Ben Carson needs to understand that all slaves are equal. And that at the end of the day, he is disposable. He should be disposed of. He's replaceable. You know, we think in terms of care about us, and we've developed some friendships and kinship with them. No, we haven't. Damn about you. White people and black folks don't understand this. White people have mastered political correctness. They have mastered political correctness. So they've mastered the ability to publicly appear to be, okay, but in actuality, they are the most racist. For instance, the movie Get Out, which of course has been talked about so much now, but within that film, you hear the white, the father saying, I would have voted for Obama a third time and this and that. See, those type of people, those liberal type of white people, you know, a lot of times they disarm black folk, and we think that they are our friends, they're down for us, but see, they're not. What is it that he wanted to do? Join black people to take over their bodies. He didn't give a damn about no black folk because he voted for Obama. We think in times that makes them a cool person. That makes them a cool white. Oh, that's a cool white dude. Oh, she's cool. She voted for Obama. See, again, they operate at all times by race first. Race first. So even if they will vote for, they're hardcore, there wants to be anything that's in support of white supremacy. So they can do little things like that. And on top of that, a lot of those people lied too. So Obama, but they really didn't. Whoever else lied. Same thing happened with the Trump situation. You had all these white people who supposedly voted for Hillary, but where the hell are they at? Even though Hillary got the Trump is still president. So where are all these white people who supposedly were against Trump? Liberal white people. Get the hell out of here. They're just as deep in white supremacy, if not more than anybody else. See, let me go back to the phone line. You know, because I wanted to also deal with Asian situation with the Asian store owner, the black customer. Actually, I'm on it. So let me get into this first. All right. So you had a beauty supply store called Misha Beauty. Was Charlotte, North Carolina. And what happened is this sisters, this young sisters, are stealing of all things. Now, my sister's on the line, the sister's out there into these Asian beauty supply stores before. Damn eyelashes. Cheap as $2, $1 something. mean to tell me this man choked this woman almost death? And that's what one of the customers said. I'm going to read that. Behind supposedly thinking she took some eyelashes. So here it is. According to Misha Beauty store owner, he was trying to confront the customer. Trying to confront, stole something when things got out of hand. He's been arrested following the incident. Footage taken by customers' mobile phones. The woman can be heard denying the owner's allegation. He began to engage in a scuffle. Lim screamed, "You hit me." Kicked the woman, pinned her to the ground, and placed her in a chokehold. According to WBTV, the owner has filed a police report saying that the woman engaged in strong arm robbery. Eyelashes from his store. Lim said he is willing to surrender the store's surveillance video to the police. He attempted to leave the store, but Lim blocked the exit and asked the female to show him what was in her bag since the alarm had gone off. Using a struggle ensued. In a silver Dodge sedan, the authorities reportedly said. The protesters expressed that Lim had crossed the line when he subdued the woman violently. When he was choking her, he was almost choking her to death. She was grasping and he was continually choking her. Teresa Mosley, a Misha Beauty customer, was quoted as saying, "The protesters have expressed that they will be boycotting the establishment." Another protester named that Lim should apologize to Charlotte's black community because, quote, "We are the ones who go to his store on a regular basis and allow his family to live a good quality of life." Protested, the store owner offered his apology, saying that he will apologize to the woman he choked. "I don't know. It just happened. I went crazy," Lim said. "No matter what the reason, I feel very sorry to her and to them." Okay. So, yeah. The video, like I said, has been all over social media. He definitely put his hands on her first. And this is the thing with this story. Because this is always what happens when it comes to our people. People are going to try to say, well, she stole something, or he thought she stole something, this, that, and the other. And she probably did. If she went in there and stole anything, then she wouldn't have ended up being choked. Okay. Then you will have the people in our community talk about being on code. But you have other people who will also say, "Get in that damn store in the first place." There is a violation of code. Now, but it's also in the way that you say it. We cannot lose sight to her, and it needs to be more of a promotion of black women to stop going into these establishments, and black men too. Let's stop acting like black men don't go on the weed sport too. Do rags, and they wave brush, and they other little stuff they put on their hair. They go in them, okay, and spend their money. So the whole black community does it. Okay, let's keep it soft. But instead of just trying to be an indictment on her for going in the store in the first place, or an indictment on black women for going in stores in the first place, we still have to go and deal with the system itself and these Asian people themselves and how they treat us and do us. Sometimes people always say, we need to blame ourselves for this and that. But to a certain level, thinking about being on code, we should not be coming out other black people in that way. In the midst of our own conversations with each other, in the midst of what, we do in our own communities, yes, we can deal with these issues. And no, she shouldn't have been going in there, and we know that. I know that. However, the issue at hand, and instead of coming to attack her, we be coming to attack these Asian folks. See, that's the difference right there. When you had the Asian police officer who shot the brother in New York City, this year, the whole Asian community showed up and showed out in support of that dude. Anything that could be said with him supposedly being a professional accident, what he ended up doing, which cost that brother his life. But Asian people didn't come out and attack him. They came out and supported him. We get into these roles of attacking each other and not supporting each other during these times, because it lets the whole world know how disunified we are, each other, that we won't even stand up just because she shouldn't have been in a weed store. Say anything on this topic?
Yeah, well, I'll say something. I think that to stick to our rules. It really is. It's time for our rules are already in place, but it's just time to enforce them. And be on one accord, like you said. We can't attack the victim, and I think that's what this society is all about. The black person, the victim is the one that's attacked. Now about her, she should have went to another store. Look deeper into it. And manufacturers and things of this nature won't even deal to black companies, won't even deal to black people, and it's our stuff. Or it's for our hair. Yeah. So when we see a situation like this, back to the manufacturers, and we can go all the way back to actually who is not to even sell this type of merchandise. I'm just tired of hearing over and over, like the little girl Natasha was actually murdered. Right. And Tupac was bringing it up. So this is not something so cliche, just blowing it off. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to hype it up, actually. You understand? Because it was serious then, and it's even more serious now because of the type of media instant notifications that we have. First now, it even was then, and everybody knew about it. Natasha Honey, she was actually killed. Right. You see what I'm saying? And actually, like you said, she was an orange juice. Right. And so you brought up Mike Brown. Even in that case, so I'm gonna let you go ahead on and run that down. So Sister Renee's gonna. We're seeing this too. Seeing it. Absolutely. Too tired of it. I agree wholeheartedly. I'm opening up Art and Brother E, but just hold on real quick. Let me bring the your lines are open, but let me just bring the situation. Okay, so recently, I guess the news about his case, which is too little, too late anyway. But you have a documentary that was done, or what have you, that whole case. And in the documentary revealed that information just came out that ever strong arm Rob. But I just read that story. They used that term, right? She strong arm Rob. It was a strong arm robbery of the eyelashes, right? And so I think that's when you rob without a gun or weapon or something to that extent. Anyway, so in the Mike Brown case, what he did, and they used that to characterize him negatively, so that people would already have a negative perception of him when more of the facts came out that Wilson was in no way, shape, form, or fashion justified in them shooting and killing this brother.
already, negative propaganda about black men, young black men anyway. So the icing on the cake was strong arm robbed the store. And what they did was, and this is a common tactic they use, and they use the dumping. They dump out a bunch of so-called facts, right? Which some of them are facts, some of them are lies, twistings, and all these things, and they dump them all out at the same time. So if y'all remember back, say that the officer was responding on robbery. Remember that? They said Wilson was supposedly responding to a strong arm robbery in a convenience store. Mike Brown supposedly matched the description and all of this kind of stuff. It was a whole lot, because in actuality, he went in there and supposedly he traded a little bag of weed for 2 boxes of Swisher Squeeze. Now here's the other game that they'll play and throw on top of that. You have white people who are saying, "Oh, well, he was selling drugs, or he was trading drugs. Oh, that was wrong. That was a criminal." Now check this out, and I've said this so many times on my show. See, they always play games with these kind of things when it comes to drugs. Now, when white people get high and they smoke, it's a huge billion-dollar industry. It's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. Oh, they a stoner. Ha, ha, ha. It's all fun. It's jokes and games. Colorado making money hand over fist. You have a lot of other places on the West Coast where it's legalized. You have more and more states where it's legalized medically and some recreationally, right? However, when it comes to Mike Brown, we're supposed to believe when a black person has weed, it all of a sudden is so awful. Something, that is so dangerous. Oh, he has marijuana. When a white boy has it, it's no problem. So for peace, what's your name? 404. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Naj.
Hey, what's up, Naj?
Not much, man. I wanted to just some info on the stuff you're talking about. I was going to go on the Korean thing, but let me add to the Wilson thing.
Okay.
Go to Washington, got the story, and you can also go to the root. Admitted in the civil trial now that Brown never grabbed his gun, first shot Brown's back. Wilson's girlfriend then, now wife, investigator, she was one of the first people on the scene that helped Wilson with the scene, where they ruined the evidence on the gun, Mike Brown having to do on his hands. That seems sketchy now, but yeah, everything is coming out now with Wilson because they had him on the stand and they're just asking him these questions, and he's under oath. So he had to admit that a whole lot of those stories that they made up in the right wing to make Mike Brown into this villain, none of this stuff is true. But go to the Washington Post and the root on this case, which is blowing up right now because everybody trash it was to begin with. School playbook demonized the black man as some kind of superhuman, super thug that he had to stop. The reality was this was who had a bad day and felt like he wanted to exercise his power and escalated it. He dreamed of doing, which was killing a young black person. And the DOJ report proved what the police in Ferguson were, but after they had set this crime scene the way they did, the DOJ but support what they had already done. So, the Mike Brown's family still doesn't have justice, so we'll see what's going on with that. The murderer, Darren Wilson, is still at large. We'll see. Now, as far as the Korean thing, I want y'all to go back to the 90s. There was a group called BOBSA, that's Black-Owned Beauty Supply Association. They got sick of the Koreans cornering the market, so they created a black group, got some stores, and guess what? The Koreans started calling all of the suppliers and threatening not to reorder if they supported these black companies. Europeans came over here because they had war going on in their country, which split from North and South Korea. Black men and women over there in that war, losing their blood in that fight. Taxpayer dollars, black included in that, built up the infrastructure of that nation. And then they come over here, subsidies, and had a nerve to not only disrespect black people, but not invest anything in the community and just suck money out of it and fund their own education and their own families off of it. So yeah, the disrespect has been there for decades. This is a horrible story, and we get stuff. You see a black person getting assaulted by some other group. Like, document is good, but a situation like that, yeah, we got to start putting hands on people. But business, man, this is an interesting topic, so I wanted to add. But
you know,
it's not her fault, no matter what.
Exactly. But that's one of the first things that happens is people attack her and say black women shouldn't be in those stores in the first place. Right. They disagree with their sentiment, but damn, focus on the fact that this sister was victimized. Like, that doesn't precede anything else. A lot of
cool, but jump in. Right. Don't have me on the ground getting beat down and you over there documenting your ass off. Jump in.
People know. Let me tell you something. It was a time I feel like black people were more feared. And they were more feared in terms of, you know, basically. Okay? I feel like there was a time where they felt more fearful. In this time now, I ain't scared of no damn black people. A lot of the things they're doing, they're just flagrant with it. They're because they become such cowards. They have become so damn weak there and record a damn man almost choking this girl to death who was standing there and recording. Them people don't give a damn. That's why the police, it can be on video. Everybody in the world can see it. And so what? Because black folk ain't gonna do nothing but complain about it, you know, why the person is being killed. Phone and say, oh man, that was so bad. Why didn't you jump in? Why didn't you jump in?
Yeah, this is the problem with the crooked justice system, because black people are recording stuff because they think if they jump in, damn, I might have to go to jail tonight too. And then the reality of that is, though, if you're recording something, you're not going to get justice in this system for the most part either. You got more of a chance of beating somebody up and getting away than you do of getting justice in the justice system. So we thinking that, you know what I mean? We're being irrational. But yeah, but y'all handle it, man, because I'm up here, got burgers on the stove, man. I'm sitting here trying to get my feet on, but I'm listening to y'all.
All right, well, your line is open if you want to. Yeah, go ahead, Brother E.
I wish I mentioned Ben Carson on Sunday's show. Good portion. So you talk about him now. Like I said before, this is a result of but these people that these people know what the hell they're doing. See, most we think are people that were too gullible, but they're not stupid. And selected by people that they're going to tell you what. Either you play ball or you don't. In that convention where it was, he's just going to tell that. And, I'm surprised that one black person on that same, I knew it was some black people there, but, it is what it is. That is, logic to really continue the game. The foolishness that most of people that either accept it or not. There are people that knew the history, either again from school. The TV shows they still produce today, the movies still say that same shit. To make that statement about it's insane. But what you show is otherwise. the last person that was a descent of a slave. I forgot his name. 30 years ago. But the point, moving on to that, with these Koreans, said what they're gonna do now. The aides now are gonna take aggression out to you now, and you ain't gonna do a damn thing. One of two things: either you're gonna keep putting your money into their pocket, a different direction. Because when racist people do that, they know, say, you know, they disrespect things, but now I can physically harm you. I mean, that, you know, we would go out, even death on our own. But with another race people, it's like a switch that happened. Salvador, as you can see from the video. I haven't watched the video. This is a psychosis right here. And then to another, and then also you switch up different. Some black people, we are mentally ill. That is a mental illness. And more than that, if I watch the video, that is a result of mental illness. A woman, when they know that somebody could put their hand and try to kill you, you don't fight wrong. You know? That piece and what? Let me put my ground. We all know that this man killed the boy. And mind you, ladies, I don't call names. I have one through that calls it sometimes. Officer for over 20 years. Ain't better these pet whips. Before he said that this man is thug, he just went to dead and on the slipping it. So it's the point with these niggas and coons that, you know, it's slipping because you already catch what you have no substance. When they make this, when the people that you devote to, once they're done with you, simple as that. They know, so they know how to deal with this to their own, you know? You know? At the end of the day, they'll leave you laugh. Because when they get the majority, you know, and then you're going to regret it. Fill out. I feel I've not got to realize they should really punish these motherfuckers, but the day's coming.
All right. Yeah, and
I wasn't too low on the volume.
Yeah, we heard you. But yeah. So a couple of things I wanted to address. And something that Nas said. I've been on my show forever, which is that when a precedent has been set in the Rodney King case. And that precedent is that it does not matter if you videotape killing, wrongfully murdering, killing, beating, whatever, to a black person. It's on tape. They will not be brought to, quote, justice. What happened? We see that with the whole Walter Scott situation in more modern times. Literally see on video, running away from the police, not threatening him, not running for him, and the police officer shoots him in the back. And then the officer taking his taser and putting it down next to the man as if he tried to reach for his weapon without breaking a sweat. Why? Already know what to do, know how to operate. And so even though all of that was on camera, it didn't mean a damn thing. So really, we should be jumping in. We should be jumping in to see black people getting their behind seats. We should be standing up and doing something. You videotaping it isn't going to mean much. These people are not going to be convicted. situation, all them sisters in there knew that was wrongful. Do nothing but stand there and tell her to stop fighting that. You know, yeah.
It just but we being broadcast when we talk about the sickness and direction of people. Where it goes, this is much now than slavery. This is a mental illness. We gotta be sick. And it's what's been saying this. And many other psychologists, even Francis Christopher. Yes. The week,
but right. And the thing about it is, another game they play in terms of trying to make us believe that we're violent or we're criminal, and that's what they're against. They're against criminality among Black people, violence among Black people, not just being against Black people in general, which is a lie. Because even when you had somebody, the King Jr., non-violent, they still disrespect them, treat him like a dog and attack him in certain ways, but they want you to believe that they think he was such a great man. So it doesn't matter if you're criminal, it doesn't matter if you Martin Luther King Jr. talking about nonviolence, it doesn't matter. And you're still a nigga to them. Cold who are aligning with them, who are feeling like, you know, I want to be on a winning team. And Black people are not the winning team. Black people say things like, oh, I hate other Black people. Oh, I want to be around white folks, white people. And let me say this too, earlier, in terms of the Asian, that you see at the family get together or whatever, Asian man there. He says, tell us, tell us about your experience as an African American. Asian man asks, and so that kind of was like, because everybody else you see there, with the exception of the guy who's been, they've taken his body. Everybody else is an Asian man. And what that represented is how Asian people and other races are complicit in the oppression of Black people. That's what that showed you. It showed you how much they are aligned with each other against Black folks. I have not caught that. So when you have Black people who do things like support Black folks, getting with other races of people who are non-white, we have to understand these things. That at the end of the day, almost everybody else has the ability to have honorary except Black people. Let me go back around. Oh, let me say this. On the live stream, I don't think we're going to do too much overtime. But now, who wanted to speak on, understanding on racial code, what we need to do in terms of that, any infractions that you all see for. Yeah, anybody have anything they want to input?
Yeah. Let's check if the board they drop.
Okay. I'm on my board right now. But let me say this, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. In terms of your enemy. So, or we should know that the enemy is white supremacy. And I always say encompassed in that is all. A lot of people, Black folk, have a problem with me saying that. Not all white people. There's some good white folk. 100% that is a lie. Even I say, well, let me not say 100%. I'll give you the exception. That part, that is a lie. For the most part, that is a lie. Because most white people who will claim not to be racist and that they don't see color and all of these sorts of things, they will still not tell on other white people who are racist, deal with other white people who are racist, that is racist, you that they're not racist. Here is a problem. We have to start looking at action and not just listening to words. We have been able to create an environment now to where you are considered racist only if you use the term nigger. Any and everything else that want to do against black folks, as long as they don't say we're not supposed to be racist. Why? We have to stop thinking in terms of words, because many of our people, they'll say, oh, well, they didn't call me a nigger. I think black people are niggers. Well, they don't have to. Everything being connected to words, that time has passed in terms of white supremacy. That is about the actions, not the words, black people. Understand that. When I talk about identifying your enemy, look at the actions of that person. I'm just telling you that they're for all people. Will they have your back when something really goes down? Most of the time, no. So, racial jokes and different things there to see how you react. They will. So this is in terms of living, and let me speak to that too, as far as being on code workplace with other black people. Seeing that there's some pressure, like that's a pressure cooker. Everybody's basically there getting a check from the white man, and everybody knows they have to toe the line to a certain degree, and they have to be a certain way. You know, black folk understand, many of us understand the idea of double consciousness, right? But you have to be this way around white folks, and then you can be this way around black people. Well, in the workplace, we know that that's turned all the way up, because this is people's livelihood that's on the line. So the expectation, in my opinion, in the workplace that other black people will have your back, not an expectation I think we should have. There's too many other issues that factor into that. There's things, and again, when you're dealing with money and livelihood, pick feeding their children over supporting another black person. So we have to keep that in mind. Now, even keeping that in mind, against other black folk, it doesn't snitch on people. It doesn't mean that you against them. You can just be in a situation where you bygones. So understanding that this is a brother or sister, nor am I going to trust them. Kind of like a neutral situation. Because at the end of the day, people gonna do and say what they gotta do to get that check. And that's the problem. The bigger problem is we're not in a position to employ our own people, like Prince said earlier. Employed by ourselves, it will be easier for us to stand up in the workplace. It will be easier for us to support each other in employment. So because we're not in that position, we have to keep these things in mind when we operate people. Now, I think I'm going to go and bring something back up. Excuse me? Go ahead.
Hey, Renee, what happened to the guest for Tuesday? The media. What happened to her?
Under the weather. I was under the weather.
So you going to do it like next week?
Let you know personally.
But one thing I want to say, somebody there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this, Renee, about yes, we have to just get to the realization. We have to get to the realization and understanding that stuff that we have to employ ourselves. We have to economic bank. You know, we got to get our own law. We got to black line our district, police out our area, everything. We got to own things. But it's ownership. When you own, you own your economics, you own your law, you own your labels, you own your religion, and you own your sex, and you own your. It's over with it. You're done. You ain't got to worry about it. You're not going to. I want the police out of our neighborhood. No. Politicians that back what you want to back, and they automatically be out. You know how politics work is all about brokerage. Line your district, and it's in 21 districts in a city, black district, and you got 7 Pan-African politicians that got African-centered police like you, being done over there in the white neighborhood. Those 7 niggas to get it done. I want to say, hold on. It's the third done. Then we'll solve. And that's how you get them, see. You got to get them where it hurt. When they want to get something, that's when you bail out. Guys out because they didn't put them in there. And then if a white person need to be bought, that's when I popped this and said, hey man, we want to get this up. We got to give old Jim Bob Jones, man, about $7 grand. I'm gonna go, okay, we'll cut John check for $7 grand or 20 grand and put it to his 501c3. Okay. That's how you buy judges out. That's how you all this stuff. It's the king of black power is this money. We had to put the money together and organize in a way to get things done. But when we talking black power, we don't talk about black power ain't free. We talking about come with the money. I mean, Jesus giving money all the time. He ain't liberating 9 niggas. I'm gonna do and I'm gonna tie to my liberation. Jesus ain't got you out of shit. He ain't never got you out though. Okay, well, this is what I tell the Christians. I said, you keep on tithing to Jesus, but that means you're gonna be paying 20% out your check. Then you're gonna give 10 to the church. You're gonna come around and give 10 to you're gonna turn around and get 10. So you're coming out 20. So you make a decision. Well, you need to get rid of. Well, you can't get rid of African liberation. You're gonna tell you want to pay a Republican New African tax. That's what you're gonna pay. You got to get this. So we got to get the babies free, and we got to get out of here. To stay here, you need a tax free. You need to be trying to liberate yourself so you can be safe, fool. You better, but you won't stop and you better own it. And you get police that's about all things. It's about money and it's about liberation, and we got to buy this. Saying that the white man is the biggest hoe of all time. One thing he loves is money. You can buy your liberation from him. Well, you can buy it. We ain't trying to buy it yet. We try to beg, but we ain't tried to buy it. Well, sometimes you gotta goddamn invest in your reparation. Man, to get a motherfucker $1 billion to get your goddamn $1 trillion you owe us. He owes us so much damn money. He owes like $777 trillion. You might get that motherfucker $7 trillion to get your $777 trillion back. Man, you're going to have to invest in this reparation plan. How you think you're going to get it back if you ain't taking shit over and you ain't owning nothing? Hey, that's why we got, I'm in the business of buying, I'm buying public schools from the Peckerwood. Instead of that down your throat, I'm going to put in your throat like that chick did in Chicago with that bleach, nigga. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you with this thing. Right. We got to buy, and corporations got to buy and buy public schools from the white man to get African education in our world. We're going to buy this liberation. It's time for dictatorship. It's time for Gaddafi. And
your freedom if you're a man. And, you know, that's one of the realest, you know, things ever. That's so real. And it's so real. But we're waiting on have a heart. We're waiting on them to somehow emotionally change, and so that, you know, psychologically change and become kinder and gentler and more accepting. This is what our people are waiting on. And I was thinking about this.
They didn't learn none from Bush. Remember Bush's campaign? You remember Bush's campaign in 2000? He said he's a compassionate conservative. That means he has sympathy for you, but he ain't doing nothing for you. Oh, that's I feel sorry for you. You're a compassionate conservatism. Get your ass out of here.
We have literally done. We've done everything we need to do. We have begged. We have assimilated. We have screwed them. We have done every single thing we can do. What we do. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I think I told Psycho this, but such a desperate existence. I'm not trying to offend anybody's religion. Well, what I'm saying, it may be make offense, but this is just real. This is just how I see it. And this is just how I personally feel, okay? People can feel however they want. Like, we are so in such a state of desperation, we're in such a state of fear, we're in such a state of, low self-esteem. There were actually, many of us are putting all of our eggs in one basket in hoping that the Lord will come back. We are that desperate, putting faith into an entity nobody can prove ever existed. Nobody can show any evidence of. This book that talks about that, and I'm talking about Islam itself. So these other religions, but putting faith in these deities and these entities that nobody ain't never seen, make no miracle, to do nothing. There's no concrete proof or substantiated evidence of the existence of these deities or these entities. However, our people literally spending income, spending tons of time out of their life. They are putting all of their faith, they hope, they dream into this, and still with nothing. Put that same amount of time and energy into our own people. Imagine if we put the faith that we put into our people as a whole. Imagine the money, that 10% that we put a collection plate, and imagine if we took that 10% and invested in our own community. Imagine if we cut off everything we did as far as religion and just did it for us. Where could we be for people? So again, I'm not trying to attack anybody. It's my observation. This is just how I feel. Because people get very touchy and upset about their religious beliefs. And you can still believe what you want. I'm not stopping you from having anything to do with your salvation and your God and whether He's going to let you into heaven. It has nothing to do with it. This is just how I see things. And we're desperate. Listen, that's a desperate people. You won't even fight for your own children. Desperate ass people where you won't fight for your own babies in their future. Do you see as to that level of submission? Submit to these people. These people sit in our face and genocide us to even speak about it. In the community who won't even say nothing. They don't see it. Don't pretend like they don't know about it. Or, like in the case of the Asian situation, where you have black people attacking the black person. damn Asian man, you ain't gonna find out where he live at. You ain't gonna go up to his store for real, and do nothing. But you're gonna attack the sister, and then you're gonna use this to attack black women. How weak is that? Please, is that? And everybody knows that we're cowards. The group now knows that we're cowards. How in the hell had these people sat there for all this time and caught all this hell, and they still ain't done nothing? We look pathetic to the world. We have no respect to the world. Like, well, damn, look over there in the Middle East and, you know, some of these other countries, and even African countries, and you will see people who took sin, okay, or went to the throw it out, but guess what? For their children, community, they gonna fight.
I got a perfect parallel to that. This Baba means the Real Academy one day. Right next to him and a lot of going down. Just watching the coconut revolution. This country that even this black dictator was trying to kill him, but they was fighting with coconuts. Stealing guns and everything. They were fighting for their liberation. And that's what African education is all about. Is to show them that our ancestors do not take this shit lying down. We talk about hate.
We were revolting.
Yeah, we revolt.
We had a lot of revolt.
Yeah. We're revolt.
Where have we really, and I mean truly revolted since civil rights movement? Revolted since then. Now I can point out the riots, the LA riots. Remember the white dude, they pulled him out? It was some of the realest shit ever.
Reginald Denny. That was Reginald Denny.
Real. Because I'm telling you why that was so real.
With a
I felt that like watch that back today as a grown woman. I was a little girl and I can remember my mom was taking me to school and something, she was just crying. I can remember she was so upset and all of this stuff going on. But you look back at their footage and everything, but and masculinity, I'm gonna keep it 100 because I felt that rage, I felt that anger, I felt that frustration, I felt that we tired of this shit, and he's gonna be a representative of it today, representative of how we feel about this whole situation and all of your people. Will say, oh, that's so wrong. How can you be violent? People can't say I'm wrong because I say I felt them brothers 100%. Won't say a damn thing in that house to kill that 7-year-old black girl. Damn thing about when they killed that 90-something-year-old black woman. They won't say a damn thing when that police officer, California Highway Patrol, sat on top of that black woman and beat her in her face like she was a damn man. The hell out of that woman.
And I bet you African men rolled by there and saw that they do shit.
Okay.
You a whole ass nigga. You a nigga. That's when you a nigger. You a hoe. You understand me? I'm not riding by no shit like that. I'm not coming out my house and see some nigga. It was a nigga that's supposed to be whooping some sister over there. Find out who it happened. I left it alone. They moved their ass out of my hood though. They had to go. Hey, I'm not gonna tolerate that shit.
Real quick, I don't have the information
information yet, so I'm putting this out there so everybody else can look it up. But we got famine going on in South Sudan, Somalia, and Nigeria right now. So we need to look for black organizations who are actually going to get the money and the food there to them. Don't donate to Red Cross and UNICEF and those white folks who ain't going to get the food and aid there. So I'm trying to look it up now. I haven't found any, but y'all look around too. But those 3 African nations right now are dealing with famine, man. So we talking about thousands of Africans dying. So we need to get into this now, because you already know who's responsible for it, and you know they ain't got the solution for it.
Absolutely not.
So that's how.
Think about it. Absolutely. Right. And we catching hell. We catching hell all around this planet. Catching hell. And the thing about it is this: we know where it comes from. I cannot accept a lot of the doctrine of Hebrew Israelites, because we are supposed to be these cursed people. We were, babies or whatever this is supposed to be. This is why Yahweh protection and these sorts of. Now, how is it that these people, who are literally the most wicked people in all of history, in all of the documented, recorded history that we have of this planet, a group that stands out from everybody else, who has done the most destruction to this whole planet, to people, places, and things? How is it that we're cursed, though? They purposely went to Africa to rob of resources. They purposely underdeveloped Africa. Things can stay as primitive, if you will. I don't want to really use that word, but
I prefer the term civilized.
Right.
The term civilized.
Well, things can stay as uncivilized. Okay.
Western civilization
things
is not civilized.
They can stay as uncivilized as possible. This is how, they did what they did. Of course, all of the imperialism, the colonialism, all of these sorts of things. Now, these people have done all this to the whole planet, but it's black folk who are the ones who are the bottom of the barrel. So that's why some of their stuff, I can't get with that, because you can't tell me that our people are any less moral than anybody else. Morality is not the issue in our community. A lot of people say it is. Morality, broken home is not the issue. Home, as Dr. Amos Wilson said, broken home, they're not the cause. Morality is the cause. See, and that's how we get this stuff all the way backwards. We get everything backwards. Like he always said, we have to exist in a backward society in order for us to be able to remain here. Good has to be bad, and everything bad has to be good. And this is the reason why you will hear black folk in this day and time, with all of the stuff that we have going on, who attack black power. We have people who make fun of the term Hotep. You have black people being conscious or pro-black and will actually use black as an insult. If you would ever see, and I don't necessarily like doing the comparison with other races, but I think sometimes it illustrates a point. So when would you ever see, let's say, hating on, when would you see Mexicans attack pro-Mexican? Pro-Asians attack, or Asians attack pro-Asians, or Samoans attack pro-Samoans. Somebody has some really bad feedback. You can line is something like clicking or something. When would you ever see that in our community, the right thing to do, funny and cute, and and use it as they pro-black, people
Chinese had that going on. The Chinese had those movies like that. They killed them though.
Exactly. You don't have
You don't
have anything. You don't have anything to how you have it in our community. Being pro-black, we don't even realize, that's been colored that way. They were actually being white supremacists in blackface to laugh when black people are trying to do anything to pull themselves up. And this goes right into all of the lies that white people tell about us, right? All of the lies, the things they say. They say things like, pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Yeah, but that's a damn lie. Chance the Rapper, $1 billion. Chicago public school, overwhelmingly, the students in that district are black students. We know this. However, with him doing that, what happened? They tried to attack him because of support or something or other with that. We try to do something, pull ourselves up, to attack it. They find a way to deflect from it. That is the type of way.
I don't know why in hell donating money to a system that's going to kill the baby.
He went to go meet the governor like he qualified to do that and got some PR for the little okie doke. So I feel bad for the brother. He means well, but he don't know what he's doing. So he's being used right now. He made a mistake. And that to that point about the bootstrap, that go from the lowest bottom up into the middle class or the highest class in one generation. Where's the trailer park to wealth pipeline? It ain't there. Off that shit. After they use government money for them to make it up to the suburbs, because they need to pay for the highway to move the jobs out to the suburbs, and they FHA loans, and then they want to turn around and act like black folks are begging if they want a nickel from the government. Government money that we pay into.
That's right.
At a certain point, the disrespect.
Like, when do black people not pay taxes?
Right. Which we ain't supposed to pay. Say the 150-year tax.
Taxation, representation. Ain't that what they threw the man tea in the water for? Hell, how long did we do that? The hell out of here with that. Yeah. And right now, as we speak, the largest transfer of wealth is going on in athletics right now. You got all these black kids from impoverished conditions playing for these universities, of dollars for these universities, all white administrators, all white coaching staffs for the most part, and all white alumni making for their school, the branding, and after they done, they just see you later, nigga.
Get out of here, nigga. What happened? Hey, y'all know this? And this is something I want to do a show on this because you made me think of something. But the brother named Joe McKnight, who was killed recently. Information on that. All of this stuff for a minute, but it disappears in the thin air. You don't hear nothing else about it. Remember the situation I think it was Waco, where all of those, Waco, Texas, where all of those white bikers, people were killed, and it ended up being like 100 and something of them arrested. Do y'all remember that? I want to say
sitting around without being in handcuffs, around waiting to be prosecuted.
I remember that.
We haven't released any of their names or anything either, so it wasn't like we just follow up.
That's the hypocrite. That's the hypocrite. No, that's crime.
Exactly.
They don't display that.
They don't categorize.
We don't need to be talking about black on black. Just, we know the reason for our problems is economic in the community. Like I always say, is the values in ourselves. Because there's gonna always be a lunatic nigga running down the street. They're gonna kill niggas.
Exactly.
That's not it. That bitch Zulus went through when got into it with folks. But under the 30 years, under the 40 plus years of black on black crime does not equate to the damn 400 years of white on black crime. 7 million, almost 100 million died in the Middle Passage. Like, right. It don't equate to us. So quit the toxic shame. We need to quit falling for. I don't really have those conversations with a lot of niggas. See, when they really know on your black power, you don't debate no more.
That's right.
You don't debate no more. Let's wait and see if they call them fighting over that crystal meth and heroin trade right now. Let's see if they call it white on white crime as them bodies pile up day by day.
Okay. And here's another thing, because I talked about this on the show before. Parents for this heroin epidemic. It's being blamed for their teenagers and their children getting hooked on these drugs. And so the black parents get blamed. Where's the daddy? All of that happens, right? When black young people make certain decisions to do certain things, it's always because of the parents. Well, why isn't it the parents' fault for all of these white folks and these white teenagers, but a bunch of these white teenagers who are getting hooked on heroin? Why aren't they being brought out? Why aren't they being talked about?
They're going to blame the drug. They're going to talk about how addictive the drug is and how dangerous the drug is. They ain't going to blame them. If it does, but Africa said that melanin is more. When we do drugs, it's going to affect us worse, and we get more because of our DNA. So how did they them? So the drugs shouldn't affect them at all. So it does. Whatever they do is all right. Whatever we do, get the hell out. We right. Get the hell out of here. And you like, and I say, on the Sudan and what's going on in there. But if you really want to fight, you need to go. You need me to go to Africa and go whoop that ass over there and get our throne back anyway. Go over there and do. But they heads over there, wide open over there with that whole shit. Because we got to get the throne back so we get the world back. We got to be on that long term, but until we can do that, we need to make sure the people can eat. Yeah, I know that. You got to get it. Yeah, we got to put food in their mouth. They split. They in South Sudan, and now one area has the oil, and they starve in the other side, South Sudan. Just how devious and sick these motherfuckers are, man.
Absolutely.
It's like this. Our people shoot. Our people.
We can hear you.
And to bring them back, some people that Africa doesn't it. Could do it. And not only that, people that's in America, it's more logic, you know what I'm saying? Because they come over for a reason. And once they understand how the world really works, then it's going to get popular. See, once this country know how the world operates and you want to get it full clear, come to America. clear. Personally, you can go right back. Simple as that, because their might is everywhere. See, no influence where America has put their force in might.
The hardest truth you're gonna learn in life is your ability to be able to murder is what determines your power, and everything else falls for after that. Now that's a sick fact, and I hate to say it like that, but that's the real reality.
And one thing, Renee, because you said about the Hebrew Israelites, you're gonna hurt their feelings a little bit because love gets too sensitive. And I'm telling you, I don't want to deal with those people.
They ain't trying to go take Israel back.
I don't want. You ain't trying to go bust. You ain't trying to go bust a European Jew down. Don't whoop his ass. The hell alone. That's what I tell them. You ain't African then? Well, you need to go get your birthright back, call your Judaism back. You need to go get that European Jew and smash his fucking skull in and leave me the fuck alone then. And see if they get past the border. And if we be real, when they throw out that child killing argument, culture or region or country you can name that has that in their history besides Carthage. So that makes you think Carthage is with a different culture. Nowhere else, that whole child sacrifice thing, that's only in Carthage.
Yeah.
So how they trying to put that as an behavior? Carthage got invaded by Europeans, right? Romans. Yeah, man. The Romans started the Senate with Carthage must fall, then hit the gavel. Let's start the Senate. So these guys, their religion, because these religious couple can go one place with it, because a lot of them are pussies anyway. For God to come and deal with this themselves. So if they ain't African liberation religion, you need to throw it in the garbage can of humanity. Paraphrasing John Henry Clark. I ain't got time for it. Teach you more slave. I tried to shut the show down, but you turned it. You turned on some topics that hit everybody nerves. Everybody. I know. Got to hit something. Go to bed.
Yeah, I mean,
all night.
I just want to say, Black folk, I really honestly don't know what else it will take to wake our people up. I mean, I do it. At the same time, I understand there are more and more people waking up every day, and I understand that concept. It's just like, what else? And then you have the situation with Chicago. The situation with Chicago where, Trump is going to go in there. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. And like all of this stuff is being set up. We talked earlier about being partisan and him using the term and Prince, something that I had meant to hit on, which is that term immigrant. They can reclassify us as, and this happens, gradually over time. Therefore, they could put a ban on immigrants in the same classification as that other certain things to us because we're supposed immigrants. That's why we have to be very careful to pay attention to the stuff they're doing when I talk about rewriting history right in front of our faces. So for that man to say what he said, again, that was very strategic. He is a neurosurgeon. I don't know why the hell you were over housing and urban development. Like he said himself, he didn't know anything about that. He said that he does not feel confident that he can run government. He said that. He said, he's not qualified to run a government department. This man said out of his own mouth. But he was forced into that position by Donald Trump. Why? Because they will always try to use against you. So they feel like if it's coming out of the mouth of a black man, and plus with all of these regulations he about to put in place when it comes to housing and all of that, going to impact the black people most of all, okay? They can't say that it's racist because, hey, right? Black people,
right. So we continue to push back, but remember, Renee, every strength also has a weakness. So they voted this incompetent person in there. This dude is about to take them off the world stage in a way we ain't seen in a long time. Because of closing the borders during globalization, access to the world's intellect, these people are now going to go to Germany, Japan, and other places and innovate and create new things. The U.S. is going to be lagging behind. So they create their own destruction. So even though it's going to be hard for us, you're going forward. And they're making it to where the Europeans and America and the West is in decline. China, Africa is on the rise. Those three nations I named that's dealing with the famine, that's just those three nations. There's also surrounding nations that are doing well. So don't, you know what I mean? Don't forget that they in decline.
Yeah.
England jump way down. When they go back to their old ways of Europeans fighting each other. World War II. The EU only thing that stopped them from fighting each other. Let it go.
In the drain, okay? And this idea of making America great again, get the hell out of here. Kids are lazy, stupid, okay, pathetic as a people in general. And people go
and they got the president they deserve, right?
Arrogant, absolutely.
That's stupid too. That's right. So you know, he is making that great. And representation. That's fat and lazy. The whole world knows it. Okay. Look at that shit. Ain't match that.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Plan to go to Baltimore on Tuesday. I got there Tuesday morning. My check ain't ice and nut. They clean that roast pretty fast. That day, a lazy son of a bitch. When you cannot work in your natural habitat, you don't even work in your natural habitat. You a lazy bitch.
They cut the budget off everything, man.
Oh yeah, lazy, arrogant, entitled. This idea, it was this idea that America was ever great. America was never great. They can't. I know what it means in terms of which is that when you have white people, ultra white people who are control, you have less non-white people in the country, and then you're reigning over the people who are non-white. In our situation, it being our ancestors and being enslaved and then out of slavery, the black code and Jim Crow and all. So I understand about, but in terms of trying to make it non-racist, because that's why I was like, man, I would love if I could ask Donald Trump one thing, like when he was it would be like, you know how they had those forums and stuff, but you know they would never let somebody like me ask the question. But make America great again. Time are you talking about when America was great, and what was the current condition? What was the current condition of black people? Love to hear him respond. He wouldn't respond to that. He would be like, well, I know how he do.
I gotta tell you, Renee, this is how I make America great again.
You better be playing with RPG brothers when you go too, because they're gonna try to hurt you.
Oh yeah.
You read all this shit?
Out of there so quick.
Yeah, like how they did that for a Muslim woman. Security escort her ass out.
Hell yeah.
To the church.
can't handle, and now they go behind. But it's too late. They already gave their vote. So
I know. Healthcare was garbage. We can handle it. Hey, we've been through this.
We've been through this already. Hell, we went through 8 years of push a few years back. This ain't nothing new.
Right.
They about to find out the new reality.
But he used their own racist nature against them.
Okay. So I'm going to get mine.
He played on that to get elected. You know what I'm saying? He knew what to say. He knew the code words to use. Oh, yeah, let me do that before I wrap up, too. That's something important I wanted to make sure I mention, which is code language. And being on code is like not publicly attacking other black people, unless it's somebody like a being incarcerated and things like that. But outside of that, we need to do as much as we can to refrain from attacking other black. Language is very important. So Donald Trump absolutely played to that. So he knew what, great again, he knew that his target audience would believe what that means. And they knew exactly what that means, which is to make America, make it less black, brown, and whatever else. Mostly black. But anyway, so they understood what he was saying. They used terms like urban. They used terms like inner city, referencing black people. They use the term Chicago now as a blanket statement for black people. So when they say things like, what are we going to do about Chicago? That really means, what are we going to do about these niggas? So they use these types of little terms, saying what they're saying publicly, and still being politically correct. So we'll have our own code and our own understanding of what's going on. And, at this point, kind of think y'all in terms of that whole Ebonics. Remember when they came out when I was G? And, this is supposed to be how black people, whatever the case. Now, even like the slang we used to have in our own community among each other, they say it. We had for our own slang. They run around here saying, back in the day, white people used to never say stuff like back in the day. We don't say that anymore, but they still say that. Swag, all of this other stuff.
Yeah,
like
you
any
little say shout out on Good Morning America.
Shout out.
This is what they do.
Yep.
They look into that mystery mirror and adopt everything we do and then call it their culture. They've always done that.
Yeah, they want to be us. They want to be us, but they don't want to be us. It is. And that's what I remember.
This is my quote. I'm going to say this real quick. This is my quote. So if y'all hear somebody else say this, I think first, okay? But no, I always say that wants to be black, treated like a nigger. Or a nigger, okay? They want to be black, but they don't want to be treated black. Have our slang, our style, our athleticism, how we operate. We know, the penis envy situation with white men, and we know the butt down jealousy situation with black women. Okay, we know all of these sorts of things. They want to be black. Of course, they want to get tans and have them. Everybody want to be black until it's time to be treated like a nigger. They want to be black, but pulling you over when you can't get a job, when you're mistreated, when you're poisoned, when you do all these other things done to you that happens to our people, they want that. They just want the little style portion. So, anyway, I just wanted to code words and that we have to develop our own code words. And I know it's hard in this hip-hop era.
You have the ability to, every day in the so-called create some new funny weird shit. So the developer code is easy.
Right.
You make money. Story of this you have to get adjusted to. And they have to make it easy. To explain the break out, he was The Psychological Development of the Black Child by Amos Wilson. His very first book, he went in full detail about the language itself. Sometimes when the black people characterize it, it's not proper English. Here, making a language simple for others to get grasped. That's right. Best for people that they use it so they could know. It has to be right. An African language. Okay. A language, so sometimes that we can relate and understand. But remember, one thing in many espionage, language is key, and to know what a person is saying is better controlling. People these shows, they can understand what we talk about. Imagine talking some different tongue. But they say, but not craziness or homophobic or stereotype that again is frightening. Because they'll say, I gotta know what they say. What the fuck they say? We're not developing that discipline because a lot of us come to conclusions that if we don't talk white enough, let's say, remember, white people you work with, slang language. You can't use your say because it's gonna be demonized. So we gotta get
and never forget what they're using is the bastard form of English anyway. Take them to London and they sound like some kind of uncivilized person because now they hear real English in front of them. But yeah, like he just said, the language was always to communicate amongst ourselves and have something to be able to speak in code. You can warn a brother with them standing right around you. You can give him a warning like, hey man, they about to do this. Or watch this. Watch out for that. Hey sister, that woman right there ain't no good. Like you could do all of that and right in front of their face and they didn't know it.
On a massive level. Think of it in terms of this on a massive level. Well, what they've done, with this whole mass incarceration. Look at what they've done when it comes to the gangs. Who are specialists in finding out who were in all the terminology, all the signs, all the symptoms, every little characteristic that they can find about different gangs, they have been able to do that for the most part. And they have infiltrated in such a way so that people who, whatever they call it when people go from being in the gangs, is it called debriefing or something to that extent, whatever the case. But they use those people. To get all that information. I've seen it. I've researched it. They have some great documentaries that really show that and break it down. And so they use those people, they try to offer them something. They try to offer them some protection or whatever the case is that they're going through. And they be in there snitching on TV, download all the information. Well, when we use this symbol, it means such and such. Word, it means that. When we have this color like this, it means so-and-so. And so these people have spared no expense in finding out. Because we know gangs, so-called gangs,
they don't let her have no secret.
Out as being productive for the community. Started out being productive. So they've always wanted to find out what is our language, how do we communicate among each other. But that was to the point where they infiltrated so heavy that we can't have nothing to ourselves. We can't even have one or two words. You hear white people using them. So we have to redevelop some sense of code words among our people that are in reference to what we should be looking out for. We're engaging with white folks. And also just, and this is a big thing too, we have to have more eye contact with each other. We have to be able to have that look. Y'all know that look I'm talking about. Where you and another black person, y'all could be the only black folk in there, or just one of a few, and you kind of had that look at each other like you identify, you can connect with them. Less and less and less. Like I've been in that situation and try to have that eye contact with another brother or sister and get it because they're so aligned. Like, they're aligned with them before they would align with me as being another black person. So, and one of the ways, and this is something I always say to the sisters, we have to start our brothers more, making eye contact with our brothers and with our sisters too. Having that eye contact. We have to rebuild that connection with each other. Because nowadays it's like a lot of sisters now they look somewhere else because they don't want to make eye contact with brothers. They're like, oh, he don't try to talk to me, or he this or he that. You know, there's so many sisters that they behind, you know what I'm saying, that they won't even toward a lot of black men. And they won't be friendly toward black women either. So we gotta reestablish some sense of speaking. I'm the opposite. Because when I'm out, I speak to all the other black people and not to the white folks. So when I do the opposite of what a lot of black folks do. So when I see white people, I'm looking the other way. I'm like, I don't need to see you. Whatever, you over there. If I do look at them, I will roll my eyes and be like, But when I see black people, I'm smiling. I engage with them. Hey, how you doing? You know, and just speak to them. So we have to start like that more often. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We about to get cut off here in a couple minutes anyway.
You're gonna take a break after the show. I might give it. Depends if you're gonna break a little bit. Are you gonna take a break after the end of the show? Do something.
Yeah, you could give me or something. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the show. I will be back on Sunday night. I may have that sister on who was supposed to come. I've really been sick the past few days, but I think our brother. Oh yeah, I think brother Equanique was too. So I want to definitely send him some love and some well wishes. But yeah, so I'll be back Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. I may have that sister on Sunday night, speaking about how to be online for all my, pro-black people out here, and some of the things we say, like protecting your IP address, protecting, your other information, what certain things you need to do, what to look out for, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to be probably talking that night. It'll probably be Sunday or Tuesday, so I will post it and let y'all know whatever night that's going to be. But we're also going to be talking about, quote, in general, we're being spied on, how they use our own devices to spy on us, et cetera, et cetera. So look out for that. My sister, Sister Nikki, Sister Maya, I want to thank Brother Prince Pierre, who's going to be back very soon, and we're going to go in on the African, water solutions?
African water
solutions. We're going to go into
that.
And thanks to my brother Naj, thanks to my brother E in the house, and anybody else who was on the line. Much love. I think the brother Mark was on earlier. To all the people who listen, much love to y'all here. But much love. So anyway, I'll be back Sunday night. Thank y'all. Love y'all. My girl on the way out.
Let me take this time out to say peace and Black Power family. The show. Make sure you check out Sister Renee on blogtalkradio.com/the right. We'll be live streaming again on Sunday on her next show.
time to sing.